What's up, guys? It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles, and it is Friday, the 1st of the month, October 1st, 2021 AD. That's a 40-year-old man, says quiet lover with quotation marks around the man. Laughing at me. Forget you guys. Or making fun of me. Anyway, I'm spitting. And it's Friday. We're going to have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show on the Hake Report. I do have a beautiful song, I think, to share with you. I like to play music from the old days when I used to be really into music. You know, in my younger days, many of you guys, to this day, well, younger than me, and so you're still really into music. Well, this is a track entitled Roman. Not unlike American, seemingly, which is not a good thing. And this is by the group called OK. Well, it's a one-man group, so I guess it can't be called a group. This is the musical entity OK. Sometimes they have performed as a 10-piece band, but it's a one-man band. Marty Anderson. This is from 2005, the Absolutely Kosher Records release album, entitled Low Road, Part 1. Enjoy Roman by OK. Grin and bear it. I'll talk you through it. Or press mute or cover your ears. Enjoy. Oh, this should be good. Quote unquote good. The Buster Goblin says. David Flores wants. He wants No Song Friday. More OK, Hake. Here you go, Ryan H2.
We got reason to stand tall. We are better than them all. We got reason to stand tall. We are better than them all. We got reason to stand tall.
He's saying we have reason to stand tall, better than them all. The Romans. This music has not been my favorite, says King Kilo Alpha 1. Hake's music needs a third hour. Kilo's birthday today?
We're getting bigger every day. You can't get in our way. We're getting bigger every day. You can't get in our way. We're getting bigger every day.
Getting bigger every day. You can't get in our way. The sound of nightmares, real and imagined. No, I do not bite my nails. Never did. I don't even know how. Marlboros, I can tell by the vocal tune. Yeah, he's just... rotten to the core. No time left, no more. Fall on me, my country. I won't stand in your way. Fall on me, my country. There ain't no other way. Seems like that's what's happening today in America. What a nightmare. What's wrong with biting nails? I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to be good, though. Some people bite to the quick. Vocalist sounds like they actually look like an actual troll. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. That's part of the Low Road album. Next week will be High Road. I've already recorded it. I'm really pumped about it. And I like this music. Even though, to this day, I like it.
To this day!
From Absolutely Kosher Records, Berkeley, California. Don't you enjoy this? That was amazingly slow, says Stephen Absolution. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with... Oh, look, there's George Washington. The show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, we're gonna be talking about the vaccine madness. I disavow all disinformation and misinformation related to the vaccines. I'm a good little YouTuber. That's right.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. It is Friday. Hope you are enjoying it. It was an excellent Get It Off Your Chest Friday with Jesse Lee Peterson and his experts, Chris, Galaxy Brain, Kickflip, Skateboard White Chris, and Nico. And of course, yours truly. Or am I truly yours? The Hake, James Hake. So, before I get to calls, you guys can call in. Some of you are already on hold. 888-775-3773. Shout out to AJ Gallardo. Or Gallardo. But he went by Gallardo. Or does. To this day. Yes, indeed. For the original The Hake Report theme song. Shout out, man. I appreciate it. And thank you to, of course, Trevor Wesley, who did the version, shorter, snappier, louder version that is played Monday through Thursday, The Hake Report. La, la, la. So good. Shout out to the Facebook crew, too, as well as Twitch. Did you know I stream on Twitch? And I should be live on, yes, indeed, I think I am. Yep. On Odyssey, odyssey.com/@ The Hake Report /live. Nice to see you guys. What's up, Meave? Nice to see you over there. Very cool. I'm also live, of course, on DLive. What's up, guys? And YouTube. YouTube, my perhaps main platform. And at least as long as I last there, which I should last. I'm like the most compliant YouTuber ever. And Twitter. But no longer on Trovo. Recently deplatformed on Trovo. Thank you, Trovo. You got me. You gave me that nudge, much needed nudge, along with the TKR official on Telegram. Follow them, TKR official on Telegram. Help me get my Odyssey live going. Very cool. So, I have to share with you some what I consider some funny stuff And I have to tell you guys, Rand Paul, he's a doctor, right? Isn't he like an optometrist or something to that effect? Or a dentist? He helps, something to do with somewhere on your head. That type of doctor. He got tackled by his neighbor during the Trump administration by a, probably not a Trump supporter, perhaps not a Christian, Rand Paul. He is a senator from Kentucky. His son was Ron Paul, whom I used to think of as a joke of a person. He's all skinny and old, and I don't care. That's their problem. Which, even back then, I knew that part was true. You know, when he's talking about foreign meddling and foreign actions. I knew he was right about that, but he just seemed so goofy and unpowerful. That's why I was happy that Trump came in and just dominated in the fake news media. But I do appreciate Ron Paul, and I sometimes appreciate Rand Paul, but I disavow Rand Paul, YouTube, because listen to this clip. This is clip 11. You're about to hear some serious, I'm not sure if it's misinformation or disinformation or not, but I preemptively disavow it. Lawyers for Laws on Twitter tweeted this out. It was actually somebody else tweeted it out, but they tweeted it out too. Rand Paul on fire, like a liar, versus HHS head Xavier or Javier with an X, Becerra. I think that guy was, Javier Becerra used to be the California Attorney General. I could be mistaken. Yeah, he was. And now he got replaced by a black female, or did he? 33rd Attorney General, preceded by cackling Kamala Harris. Oh, succeeded by Rob Bonta, whatever that guy's name is. Rob Bonta. A California liberal, Xavier Becerra. So this guy's the head. He's the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. Doesn't that sound? Did you guys read these books, these things that like 1984 or any of those? Fahrenheit 451 or Brave New World. Books that showed like the government or the culture in general, the people's brainwashing to be so compliant with the establishment way of thinking and stuff like that. That's what Health and Human Services sounds like to me. We don't need a federal agency, I don't think, called Health and Human Services. When did that thing come into play? So-called Health and Human Services. When was it founded? Way back in like 1953 or something like that? Formed in 1980 though? I don't know. What a mess. That's around the time that communism was really coming into play. Games for Rock says Fahrenheit 451 is a good read. I heard PewDiePie didn't really like that book. But, so this guy is a sleazy person. Came from California, the Attorney General of California. During the time that California became a so-called sanctuary state, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And he was preceded by cackling Kamala Harris, who became a so-called California senator, and then became the so-called, and people say that I abuse the term so-called and supposedly, and it's true. It's a valid criticism. I need other adjectives to communicate this phrasing. But she's like an anchor baby. Anyway, I don't want to go too deeply into that. I think I got censored for saying stuff like that before. Anyway, here is Senator Rand Paul in a hearing, and you could consider this maybe just grandstanding. Because these senators, remember Trey Gowdy? He used to shout at the people, and we're like, yeah, Trey Gowdy is so tough. But nothing would change. Nothing would happen. They would still just do whatever. They're shameless. They being the Obama administration, because that was Trey Gowdy's time. Or this is so terrible. and then he lets them do it anyway. You know, pathetic. These people, all talk, no action, as Trump called them, rightly so. Listen to this clip. It's about 2 minutes long, a little bit more. Here is, and it has to do with that NBA player whom I called a bad example just to protect my YouTube channel. Jonathan Isaac, that 23-year-old upstanding Christian who didn't kneel for the Black Lives Matter scumbag people or their hero, Georgia, Florida. And he already caught the China virus. I played it for you this week. And so he felt that with his age group and his fitness level, he was not at high risk of, it's not a major concern of his to get the reinfected from the China virus and have major symptoms. So he didn't feel like taking the rare, tiny risk of side effects to the so-called vaccine. So he didn't want to take the vaccine. And people went after him. Well, here is Rand Paul defending that bad example, Jonathan Isaac, I'm saying it sarcastically, against Xavier Becerra, the head of the HHS, Health and Human Services. Listen to this.
Mr. Becerra, are you familiar with an Israeli study that had 2.5 million patients and found that the vaccinated group was actually 7 times more likely to get infected with COVID than the people who had gotten COVID naturally?
Whoa.
Senator, I'd have to get back to you on that one. I'm not familiar with that study.
Well, you think you might want to be if you're going to travel the country insulting the millions of Americans, including NBA star Jonathan Isaac, who have had COVID, recovered, look at a study with 2.5 million people and say, well, you know what? It looks like my immunity is as good as a vaccine or not. And in a free country, maybe I ought to be able to make that decision. Instead, you've chosen to travel the country calling people like Jonathan Isaac and others, myself included, flat earthers. We find that very insulting, goes against the science. Are you a doctor or a medical doctor?
I've worked over 30 years on health policy.
You're not a medical doctor. Do you have a science degree? And yet you travel the country calling people flat earthers who have had COVID, looked at studies of millions of people, and made their own personal decision that their immunity they naturally acquired is sufficient. But you presume somehow to tell over 100 million Americans who have survived COVID that we have no right to determine our own medical care. You alone are on high, and you've made these decisions, a lawyer with no scientific background, no medical degree. This is an arrogance coupled with an authoritarianism that is unseemly and un-American. You, sir, are the one ignoring the science. The vast preponderance of scientific studies, dozens and dozens, show robust, long-lasting immunity after COVID infection. Even the CDC does not recommend measles vaccine if you have measles immunity. The same was true for smallpox. But you ignore history and science to shame the flat earthers, as you call them. You should be ashamed of yourself and apologize to the American people for being dishonest about naturally acquired immunity. You want more people to choose vaccination? So do I. You want to lessen vaccine hesitancy? So do I.
That's him. That's Rand Paul. Rand got to get to Hake's barber, says David Flores. Boom, says Fred Johnson. But that might be disinformation. Because listen to this. I saw this from the Facebook crew. Lisa over there on Facebook says, why are we looking at Israel? I don't know why she put a $sign for the S in Israel for a reference. It's not comparable. She claims they have genetic mutations because they have inbred so much. I had not heard that, but it sounds like, I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. But the Pfizer executive, there was a Pfizer guy, I think he said that he had, and he may have been mistaken, that he had like Pfizer had an exclusive contract with Israel, and they forced vaccinations on practically everybody, and they did it well before us, and they're doing booster shots now. And so they're like a laboratory, he said. He used the term laboratory for what Israel is, so that we see a few months later, that's what's happening in America. So, Lisa, I will have you know, genetic mutations from the virus, because they're inbred so much, I don't know if that's true. But Lisa knows a lot of stuff. She knows that the viral load is up in the nasal cavity. So I don't know, Lisa. Oh, Lisa says she will catch a ban if she spells it out without the dollar sign for the ass in Israel. That makes it look worse. Man, what a mess. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, other people have pointed to these studies in Israel, and because they have high vaccination rates, and then they still have high, of course, breakthrough cases and hospitalizations and stuff. 4th booster shots. Hake? Wow, is that what they're doing? Their 4th booster shots now? Man. The good doctor says it's just like as if Hitler came back to Israel. Like he was ever there. Was he ever in Israel? I don't know. Anti-racist Hitler might have been. Great cartoon. Funny video. Courtesy of White Rabbit Radio. Check it out. It's over there on Odyssey. I do happen to know. odyssee.com/@White Rabbit Radio. Just to see if I can tell you guys where to look. Seeing if it'll come up. But anyway, I mean, I guess that's not that important. But check it out. Yeah, indeed, it is there. You may have to scroll a bit because he has a lot of videos up. That Tim Murdoch guy, I guess, is his name. So I don't know. Isn't that interesting? He made this claim that they studied 2.5 million people, vaccinated Israelis, whom Lisa is serious. Doctors ask a mother or father who are expecting a baby if they are Jewish because they have genes that cause diseases unique to them. Well, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it that is common because look at blacks. I think they are disproportionately affected by sickle cell disease, right? And different things. So there's different people have different problems. The whites get the skin cancer. So, interesting. Thank you. Appreciate that. But that study supposedly said that people who had previously had the virus, according to Rand Paul, and this might be disinformation, so look into it for yourself. And I would disavow it preemptively. But he said that the people who are have that natural immunity is 7 times more than the people who got the so-called vaccine. Interesting. But that's not what Popular Science says. Here's the truth. Popular Science on Twitter says the immunity provided by the vaccines is stronger than the antibodies you accrue after catching COVID. In fact, you might be duly protected if you were infected and then get vaccinated. That's what Popular Science says on Twitter. Popular Science, I used to think positively about Popular Science, so maybe they're right. I don't know. But of course, Ignorant Ann Coulter says that there have been multiple studies, like 3 studies, that show the opposite. So I don't know whom to believe. I'm jokingly calling Ann Coulter ignorant. She's like a fiend with her research. Just research. But she says stuff that's not acceptable by the establishment mainstream media, such as that there are 30,000 or 30 million, or more illegals, when we all know that it was only 11 million ever. Only ever 11 million illegals in the country, not 30 million. And Coulter, with your research, give me a break. And your logic. That's one logical woman, right? Popular Science says War Eagle has gotten very liberal. Used to love it. Yeah, I remember my grandpa used to have Popular Science magazines, and the covers always looked cool. I don't know if I ever got past the cover, but the covers looked awesome. I liked pictures. So, anyway, do I want to get to this? Yes. Before I get 2 calls, hang tight, guys. I appreciate it. Let me tell you another guy who's a good example, unlike Rand Paul. Marc Lamont Hill. He is right, guys. Ann Coulter is great on immigration. Yeah, she wrote that book, Adios, America, and Trump read it. She's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show and The Fallen State. Very cool. Marc Lamont Hill. Let me just talk about Marc Lamont Hill very briefly. He used to debate Jesse Lee Peterson. Did you know that? On Sean Hannity's radio show quite frequently, right? Commonly. Whoa. Thank you guys for the super chats. I will read those. Need to silence my cell phone. Then this Marc Lamont Hill guy became a talking head on Huffington Compost. Actually, it feels like an insult to compost to call Huffington Post Huffington Compost. We all know compost is manure, right? Something like that, or trash, or both. And Raymond 11 is saying the karma for Marc Lamont Hill. Oh yeah, Mark with a C, M-A-R-C. Lamont is his middle name. Hill is his last name, I guess. He was a talking head in Huffington Post, which is a joke of a liberal news outlet, fake news outlet. They were so bad, Huffington Post, that in like 2015, 2016, they put, and I've told you guys this before, they put Trump-related news when he was running for president into, they made this whole announcement about it. We're putting Trump into the entertainment section, not the politics section, not the political updates section, U.S. political news, because he's just an entertainer. He's not going to be president. And sure enough, he became president, and they got more and more marginalized. Where's Huffington Post now? They're a joke. Huffington toilet paper, says Bumps Mac DC. That's right. Lamont Hill is a trained Marxist, according to Kevin Howe. That guy is totally communist. He never gives a straight answer. Indeed, JLP would just put him under the table. He was just a joke of a person. And he would never respond when I was producer to interview invites on the Jesse Lee Peterson show when I was JLP's producer. But that guy, and then he went on to appear buddy with Don Lemon. And they became a couple of jokey black guys on CNN. Don Lemon being the host and Marc Lamont Hill being the guest. And they were just all chummy and lame and arrogant, black intellectual liar, communist suckers who hate white people. Don Lemon is horrible, says Noah's Ark, Kansas. Don Lemon went off the deep end with Trump hatred. He used to be somewhat young-looking, even though he was a radical homosexual. Came out of the closet, which is not advisable. Keep it secret and overcome, right? Same with all the issues. Anyway, I saw this retweet from the guy, former guest of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Uncle Hotep. And he tweeted this, a couple of screenshots, and said, I'm out. So the first one is Marc Lamont Hill responding to that bad example of an upstanding, who is an upstanding Christian young man, Jonathan Isaac, whom I played for you on the Hake report earlier this week, who said, I've had COVID and we should love each other. And, with my age group and my fitness level currently, I don't really feel it's a risk for me not to get the vaccine. So he says that he's generally pro-vaccine, but he doesn't want to take the risk. He's a young man. Heart inflammation sometimes, rarely, but sometimes affects young men. And they have linked it. I don't know if it's a cause or not with the China virus vaccine, right? So Marc Lamont Hill quote tweets his little video, the Orlando Magic NBA player, Christian man with the wild hair, 23 years old, Jonathan Isaac. Marc Lamont Hill says, this sounds smart, he's a blue check mark on Twitter, to people who don't know things. Typical vague communist dumb guy saying that, right? Just the arrogance bleeding out of that tweet, oozing out of that Marc Lamont Hill tweet. Even his name it sounds arrogant. Marc Lamont Hill. Why not just Mark Hill? Nobody else is called Mark Hill that I know of. But no, Marc Lamont Hill. I mean, I do James Anton Hake because there is a ceramic artist who's called James Hake. I looked at it, I Googled it, and so I put James Anton Hake. But it's not because I'm all hoity-toity about my name. It's just my great-grandpa's name, I think. Anton, or Anton. Not Antoine. And so he's bashing this healthy, young, fit, Christian man, black man, sensible man, for an NBA player, right? And then the next screenshot is of Marc Lamont Hill with his 354,000 followers on Instagram. And I don't know why he tweeted this out. This is embarrassing. Have some dignity. Look at this picture of him in the hospital bed. He took a selfie. And he has I'm laughing. I'm laughing with him, not at him. But he shouldn't be he should not have tweeted this. Why did he tweet this out? He tweeted out a picture of himself in a hospital bed. God's gonna cut you down. Isn't that something? Isn't that something that what's his name sang? That Christian country-ish, folkish rock singer Johnny Cash sang, God's gonna cut you down, or the man's gonna cut you down. Because he was all arrogant. Pride comes before the fall. Marc Lamont Hill. How old is Marc Lamont Hill? He's only 42? 42? I thought, because you know blacks, they tend to age pretty well. Raymond 11 says, I'm laughing at him. And so it is the real Hydro PX. Nice to see you guys. He's only 42. Born December 17th, 1978. I assumed that he was in his 50s, maybe even his 60s, because, you know, blacks look pretty young. But no, this guy's just a couple of years, 2-3 years older than me. All right. And he's like a doctor too, right? Isn't he like a PhD? They just hand those things out willy-nilly. I'm sure he put in the work, jumping through the hoops, being a good little, academic boy. No offense. That's not a racially charged use of the term boy. I'm serious, it's not. But anyway. I saw this on TKR Official on Telegram. Shout out to Asmodor. This is from the Gateway Pundit. Fully vaxxed former CNN contributor Marc Lamont Hill suffers a heart attack, according to the Gateway Pundit. And I don't know if that's true, but that's what the Gateway Pundit headline says. And is hospitalized with blood clots. And he blasted the NBA player critical of the China virus vax. Which came first? Did he make fun of Jonathan Isaac first and then he got hospitalized? Or did he get hospitalized and then still have the nerve to make fun of that Jonathan Isaac guy? I don't know. Maybe it's in this article by Christina Layla. He's only 42 years old. And he's not, I don't think of him as fat. Marc Lamont Hill. He tweeted that on September 29th. And then on Wednesday, what was Wednesday? That was the same day, right? Revealed he had suffered a heart attack and had deep vein thrombosis, which caused a pulmonary embolism. Yikes, that's a bit graphic if you know what that means. Or is it? I am home and recovering after a rough week. After my successful Achilles surgery, oh man, he had Achilles surgery on Friday, rushed to the ER on Saturday after suffering a mild heart attack. Turns out I had a DVT, deep vein thrombosis. Yikes. Thrombosis means like it's blood clot, basically. It's gross. Painful, I think. Which caused a pulmonary embolism, whatever that is. Heart attack, maybe? Blood clots nearly completely blocked my lungs. Whoa. Preventing blood flow to my heart. Yikes. Doctors told me I was very lucky not to have died. Well, yeah, I guess so. Fortunately, I received excellent medical care from the team at Temple University Hospital. Doctors accurately assessed my condition and removed the clots. Wow. My body is worn out and sore, but I couldn't feel more grateful to be alive and on the path to full recovery. Yeah, now's your chance to repent for being a communist. Please listen to your bodies. If something feels off, go to the doctor, says Marc Lamont Hill. Don't worry about seeming like a pain or a hypochondriac. Just go. Thanks to everyone who offered to help during this terrifying time. Blessed with amazing friends, wonderful family, plenty of unmerited grace and mercy. That's what he said on his Instagram. He said on Thursday that the notion that he developed the blood clots from the COVID vaccine is ridiculous and completely baseless. Just FYI. So don't be spreading that fake news, guys. This is an extremely common outcome for such injuries, referring to his Achilles rupture. Yikes. Ugh. Achilles, is that a tendon? I think it's an Achilles tendon. And for that thing to rupture, yikes. Any of you guys squeamish at like gore and blood and guts and stuff like that? You're not a squeamish guy, are you? Huh? Not really. Yeah, I don't think so. I was referring to Chris. He's not. Terrible. But, interesting. So it sounds like he had all that injury stuff, and then he still had the nerve to go after this guy. So he has not yet repented of being an evil know-it-all. What a mess. Anyway, thank you guys for bearing with me through that. I wanted to just talk that over. Let me get to a first-time caller out of Oklahoma, Nikki. What's up, Nikki? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. No woman is good, though.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm well.
Yeah, right on. That's good.
I wanted to prove to you that it's the end of time. So, and I could prove it using mainstream Google.
Okay.
If you Google rivers turning to blood, you'll see that there's been a bunch of rivers turning to blood. They've turned red. That's one thing. The Euphrates, if you look that up, it's Euphrates drying up. Using Google, you'll see that's drying up, and that's in the Bible too as one of the signs. And Revelation 6, the first seal writer, he has a bow and a crown. And if you turn bow and crown into Greek, you'll see the crown is corona in Greek, and bow is translated to toxin, which is toxin, or the Greeks used to use them, poison darts. So hence the vaccine, which has Luciferase in it. And,
it has what in it?
Luciferase, and you can go to the Moderna website. On a PDF file, you can search the term Luciferase, spell it out, and it actually has that. It's an enzyme, and it's the name of the devil, Lucifer plus ASE. And anyway, so, and then a lot of these people, like you just said, this guy has blood spots and stuff like that. Anyways, a lot of, like, they're suppressed videos, but people are having sores all over. Like, we live in a communist nation, like you say, so a lot of the stuff is suppressed. So, but a bunch of people are having sores, and that's in the Bible too, if you look it up. And it says that people will be deceived, Revelation 19:20. They will be deceived into taking the mark. So I'm just letting you know and everyone else know who hasn't taken it that you should look this stuff up. And you can do it on mainstream Google and the Moderna website, and you can do it. But the world is coming to an end. If you're a true Christian, you would see that. And I'm putting myself out there just because I just genuinely care about people. And I've seen this stuff coming, and I've researched this stuff for like 2 years, put thousands of hours of research into it. But I could also prove it. Sons of God in Genesis and Noah, sons of God are angels. They're fallen angels. They came to earth, and it's in the book of Enoch. They actually had sex or whatever with women, and they bore giants. And those giants could actually, that's been suppressed too, but there's actually bones of giants, and that you can Google that, and you'll see they're all over the place. But anyways, if you look, it says corruption of DNA, Genesis 6:1, sons of God, the corruption of DNA, that was the messed up DNA. And God saved Noah because he wasn't righteous, or he seemed like he was drunk. If you remember the story, he gets drunk. But anyways, but his DNA was pure. That's what people are saying.
What?
So that's why his family got saved. If you'll research.
Wait, you're saying that?
What I'm saying.
What a mess. Well, I appreciate it, Nikki. How old are you?
I'm 35, and I didn't ever want to call in because I'm a woman, so that's probably going to dismiss what I say, but you can actually research this stuff.
But I'm not interested in... How come you spent so many thousands of hours researching it? Do you have a family?
I do have a family.
Because
of my
children?
research, they won't be taking the vaxx. My children won't be taking the vaxx.
And you have a husband?
A lot of my other family haven't taken the vaxx yet, and he researches this stuff too. What we do.
And so the Christians who have not researched it, they're not real Christians because they don't know it?
No, I didn't say that.
You said real Christians know this. If you're a real Christian, you'll know this.
I said that the Bible, that it's in the Bible.
No, you said if you're a real Christian, you will know that it's the end times.
No, I said that you would recognize it after you research it and you cross-reference.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant.
I'm not questioning your faith or anyone else's. I'm just trying to help those that still haven't taken it.
I appreciate it. How did you? Do you listen to our show regularly?
Sometimes I do, yes.
I appreciate it. How did you hear about us?
Jesse led me to God. I was an atheist before, or an agnostic.
Yeah.
And so I went down the rabbit hole and then started researching this stuff, and then that's what I came up with. So much knowledge wearies the mind, Nikki. Aren't you weary? But then ignorance also. Ignorance also gets you vaxxed and blood clotted. So. I'm ignorant, and I'm not blood clotted, I'm not going to divulge what I am medically. Well, that's not my business either. Yeah. It's but I'm ignorant, so and I don't. That. It doesn't take too much knowledge. Aren't you weary from all that research? Be honest. No, actually, no. But I'm trying to figure out how to tell people, and that's why I'm calling. I understand. I definitely can relate to that. I remember when I had found Jesse Lee Peterson recently. And I was a sort of a new listener to his show and coming to church. And I started to panic because I was looking around at how evil Obama was. And I didn't necessarily think, this is the end times. But I was like at a loss for how to spread the word. And so I was spreading the word. And I think I was going about it in kind of the wrong way. Turned off a lot of people. He says you don't need a preacher to read the Bible or know God, so you don't need them. But I'm just surprised that preachers or leaders aren't talking about this. And my husband was saying, well, they probably don't know. So therefore, I'm just saying, here's some stuff. Look it up, and you'll see it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. So do you have? Then you wouldn't be ignorant. Right. Do you have peace? You don't know. I'm not saying you're stupid. But no, that's fine. I'm not offended at the ignorant thing. Don't even worry about that. Because it's just ignorance, not knowing. And that's all. Someone needs to tell other people about this stuff, and it's being hidden, but it's still hidden. Do you have? Spikes if you Google it. Do you have peace? Yes. You do. I do. Mm-hmm. Are you sure you have perfect peace? Because God said He will keep in perfect peace. Perfect peace. Yeah. I think the Holy Spirit led me to a lot of this stuff. So. Yeah, but do you have perfect peace? Yes. Nice. Well, for a woman, I'm so unemotional, you would actually be surprised. I do have anxiety. You do have anger, you said? To cry. No, I said I don't like to be in the spotlight of anything, so it takes a lot for me to call in and try to help other people.
Well, I appreciate your effort.
If you look it
Are
up,
you
you'll
sort
see
of
exactly what I
subdued?
said.
You sound kind of dead inside. Are
No.
you dead inside at all?
No.
I'm not trying to be mean about that. I'm just asking. You have anxiety?
Not really.
Good. Well, thank you.
But,
And I'm glad that it's nice that you've become a Christian. I don't really encourage too much research because it doesn't take much to have the common sense to know what to do with your life and your family. I appreciate your effort to protect your family as much as you can. Is your husband the head of you?
I suppose, yes. I stay at home and so forth, but
You
he pays the
suppose?
bills. I do regular stuff. Yes.
You suppose?
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
As far as this whole woman thing, it takes a lot of courage for women to call in. So that's why I haven't called in. But,
Oh, really? You think we're too hard on women?
I see what you're saying. A lot of it's true. Most of it, actually, it's just just keeps women from most regular women and from calling in. So, but
Well,
that's why I don't call in because she's a woman. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
No, I mean most people don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, don't feel like that because even if you don't know what you're talking about, I don't mind women calling in. So this is a public service announcement for all women, including you, Nikki. Unless your husband doesn't want you calling in, which that's totally fine. But if you have a disagreement or you want to present something or whatever, or you have a comment or a question, don't feel like you can't call in and feel like I'm going to dismiss you just because you're a woman.
Well, that's why I called you rather than JLP.
JLP loves women.
I know he does.
Yeah.
It's just he's abrasive at times. So.
He what? Abrasive?
Right.
But it's love.
Right.
Okay.
It is. So, but I just want to say all that stuff and then have a good day and do what you want, do nothing or do something with it. So have a good day.
You too, Nikki. By the way, do you do JLP's silent prayer?
I have before.
Yeah. Do you pray without ceasing?
Yes.
You pray without ceasing.
You're also supposed to pray out loud too, just FYI, because it says that in the Bible too. But it is in the book of Psalms where you do lay at bed at night and pray.
Yeah.
Like JLP says.
Quietly.
So that's in the Bible too.
Yep.
So,
it definitely is. Well, it's nice to hear from you, Nikki.
Day,
you too. Take care.
You too.
Appreciate you.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye. Somebody was calling me unfair to her. Nice. I disavow. I don't know that it has Luciferians inside of the vaccine YouTube. I disavow that statement she didn't say Luciferians. She said something else. I disavow it, but I don't know. What a mess. Okay, before I get back to calls, a few super chats, guys. Actually, a lot of super chats. Over there on streamlabs.com, Luciferase says Punished Yeet and Quiet Lover. Thank you, guys. Super chats, streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Rock, oh no, I read the Rock Climber one. Talking about women like to have the last word. And he wasn't talking about her, Nikki. He was talking about Joe from Phoenix, calling Joe from Phoenix a woman. Joe from Phoenix and I have a fun relationship. As in, friendship. Single mom doing her best says, donning armor versus Chuck. Perfect entertainment gold. This one's free, James. They're both polar opposites, which is a plus. All right, I appreciated single mom doing her best. Thank you. That was yesterday's super chat. And Hydro gave one. The real Hydro PX? He said, if you've been vaxxed, you need to go sit down in the corner. In the corner. I don't know what that means, but yes. Based America First gave a super chat and stated on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, Low Road, the album, by OK, the band, is so good. The Hake Report just keeps getting better and better. Well, thank you, Based America First. And honestly, I don't know if this guy's a Christian. I kind of have doubts, but I feel he's kind of deep. And the music is nice. Maybe he's a little precious, the Marty Anderson guy. But he's kind of deep for, he suffered that Crohn's disease and came to some cool, simple points about life and living and your mindset, which I really appreciate. And it doesn't seem disrespectful to Christianity, at least. That's cool. Thank you, Base America First. My call and hates me. That's which H8S. Number 8S. My call and hates me donated a super chat and said, Israel, and the U.S. government for that matter, will trade their citizens' safety, potentially, for a profit. We saw it with the war in Afghanistan, flood of illegal immigration, and now with this jab for cash. Interesting statement. And I saw Meave. Shout out to Meave808 over there on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com/@The Hake Report /live. And she gave a super chat. And so did others. She gave a super chat that had like a heart, I think. A heart. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Meave. Appreciate that. Asmodor gave a super chat on Odyssey and stated, it's not all that rare. And he goes on. Heart attacks and deaths due to peripheral artery disease are exploding among the vaxxed. This is what he says. Revolver has several recent articles centered around recent numbers from Scotland and elsewhere. Check it out, guys. Revolver.news. It's a great outlet, great resource. Thank you, Asmodor. It is a warning. Brandon M gave a super chat on on Odyssey, ODYSE.com/@The Hake Report /live. Hake Womanhood Hour coming 2022. Thank you, Brandon M. I appreciate that. Well, thank you, guys. Let me quickly get to Rick in Maine. Rick in Maine, thank you for holding. What's up?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Doing well. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's been quite the week, to say the least. There, I've had quite a mess the entire week.
Oh yeah,
but
for work.
Thank goodness I'm loaded, headed home anyway. So I'll deliver this afternoon, and
nice.
I'll head for the house.
Keep on trucking.
Couple of comments here I got for you, Bob.
All right.
I like OK. He's all right.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. You gotta give a tip of the hat to somebody that will put his works, in the position that he's in.
Yeah.
And do so well. You get used to his voice, but that's part of the deal. You get used to it.
Yep.
And the music itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
For a fellow that's doing a one-man band, that's exceptional.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
That's cool. I appreciate it. The boomers and the Gen Xers love OK. The rest of you guys, musical Philistines, you can kick rocks.
I get a kick out of that.
That's cool.
Oh, brother. I'll tell you, these youngsters today, I really got to shake my head.
Yeah, same here. That's cool.
I kind of like to see you go to 3 hours, too. That's quite a grueling task for everything you're doing now.
Yeah.
But I think you could do it. I don't have any doubts about that.
Well, thank you for the vote of confidence and support.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I talked to Daniel there the other day and wished him well with his endeavors.
Nice. Yeah.
And am patiently waiting for the news show.
Yeah.
Well,
Nick, the anchor baby?
Nick, yes.
Yeah.
His show.
That's
gonna be interesting.
I really enjoyed his guest hosting of the Jesse Lee Peterson show some months back. It was cool. That was great.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
A very good job. Now, is he, with his music endeavors, is he doing some of the interim music at the beginning of the show and stuff like that for Jesse, or?
I don't believe so. I think that is mostly content songs and musical pieces that Chris, our board operator, has found and dug up. But Nick has shared some of his own music on when he guest hosted his show. You may remember Jesse's show.
Yeah.
And when he's done JLP plays. I don't think we have JLP plays today. I'm not sure. No JLP plays today, but he has played some of his own music during JLP plays in the lead up to it. That's when Jesse Lee goes on a stream and plays video games with Nick.
Yeah, I've seen it once. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty fun.
That was pretty cool.
I like the one where he goes and talks with strangers and has deep conversations with young men and women. That's cool.
That would be something to watch for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to keep an ear open for Nick's music.
Because, he's
he does
talented.
A pretty good job.
Yeah.
Really? Good.
Yes. He could compose okay under the table. And I love okay.
Yeah.
So, nice.
Yeah. Boy, that sounds pretty good. I hope he plays some of that stuff when he starts his show.
Yeah. I'm sure he will. I bet,
cool.
anyway. I don't know how he fits all that stuff in.
I know. A hat tip to Chris, too. You're doing a heck of a job there, buddy.
Nice. Right
I
on.
enjoy those interim music pauses that he's put together. Some of them are real good.
Yeah.
I like the intros on Jesse's show, too, because a lot of that stuff, that's driving music for me.
Right on.
I enjoy it.
Well, Chris, thanks you, man.
Yes, sir.
Somebody asks in the chat if you have a preferred fast food burger.
Oh, good Lord.
Or do you even
stay away from that stuff.
Good for you,
I try
man.
to stay away from it as much as I can because, a lot of these places that are serving up that stuff is really bad for us diabetics.
Right.
They're actually not supposed to have the bread.
Right.
A lot of times, if I'm going to do it, I'll get it without the bun.
Yeah.
And just have them put it in a tray there, and I'll eat it that way.
Yeah, I listened.
If I absolutely had to, I suppose it would have to be McDonald's. I don't know.
McConnell's. I hadn't heard of that. Okay, man.
No, McDonald's.
Oh, McDonald's. Okay.
Yeah.
I made up an imaginary one. McConnell's. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I listened to a wise old man one time, and he said, yeah, basically the diabetics' proper diet is how human beings should be eating anyway. Basically, forget that bread even exists, is what he said.
Yep.
And low carbohydrates.
Yep.
Lots of protein, fruits, veggies, and nuts and seeds and legumes and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay away from high sugar vegetables, carrots, peas, corn.
Okay.
White bread, anything with white flour in it.
Yeah.
Obviously anything that's real super sweet.
Yeah.
Once in a while you can get away with it. The last few days, my sugar's been running a little bit high. So I've been really trying to watch what I'm taking in.
Yeah, do take care of yourself.
I try to.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's getting harder out here because a lot of these truck stops, they're taking the restaurants out of them.
Wow. Is that because of the supply chain mess, or what is that?
No.
What's the idea?
No, it's just a lot of them. Well, you know, this whole situation has put a crunch on supply.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So a lot of the situation comes from that, and also hired help. It's hard to get good people to work and do a good job.
Yeah.
Even at the rate that they're paying a lot of these people that are coming in, they just don't want to work, unfortunately. Wow. And it's really creating a situation where the transportation industry is put into a situation where we're forced to eat fast food just about constantly.
Yeah.
And it's eventually going to kill us.
You're right.
Unfortunately. So, it's a shame to see that because at the end of the day, when I'm running a full day, 14-hour shift, 11 hours of driving, I want to have a chance to park the truck, go in and get a good, healthy meal.
Right.
Or start my day with a good, healthy breakfast, whichever one. And it's getting harder and harder and harder to do that. One more point, and then I'll let you go, bud.
Uh-huh.
I am on Odyssey as well, but I'm having trouble figuring this thing out.
Yeah, it's tricky, and I think that they're still kind of getting their act together. Their website is relatively new, and there are bugs that have come up. The website has gone down a little bit, so be patient with it. I'm sure it'll have some issues, but it'll only get smoother with some hiccups over time. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
But you can.
But I'll be posting videos over there too.
Oh, right on.
You know, along with my YouTube channel that I've got.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really active on it here lately because I've been on the road so much and I've been trying to take care of Dad at the same time.
Okay.
And there's a lot of juggling going on back and forth.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
If folks want information on my channel, I'll gladly give it to them. Just, I'll give it to Nick or somebody. And
that sounds great.
And he can put it out there.
Nice, man. Thank you, Rick. It's good to hear from you, man. What you
my friend.
What are you hauling, by the way, if you don't mind my asking?
I got rolled paper.
Okay.
It's big rolls of, I believe it's tissue paper that's going to transportation distribution hub.
Yeah. Okay.
There. And actually, my brother works for that outfit, so.
Wow.
He'll be seeing,
Nepotism.
Yeah.
What's your channel called? What's your channel called again?
My channel is called Single Shot, and there's an exclamation point right after the T.
That's right. I'm subscribed, by the way. I do believe. Unless YouTube unsubscribes me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the content. I try to keep it PG.
Right on. Well, thank you, Rick. Take care, man.
All right, brother. You take care. God bless. You're doing
as well.
a great job.
Thank you.
America moves by truck, buddy.
That's right. Cool. All right, guys. I will get to more of your calls. I am over the top of the hour. I'll have 2 more okay songs for you. The last one is absolutely my favorite. But this one is probably my second favorite, or an immediate, catchy, memorable, maybe the most memorable song on this album, Low Road by OK, 2005 on Absolutely Kosher Records, which I think is defunct now, out of Berkeley, California. Hoot is the name of this track. And isn't it appropriate? Enjoy Hoot by OK. And I'll be right back, guys, in a few minutes for the rest of hour 2. So good. That's not a family-friendly word. Sounds like an old guy taking estrogen pills, says Canadian David. I'd rather slavery than Hake's music, says Danny. Samuel the Swede chuckling up about this. Man, I will compose a song about something now, probably about sunshine. Right on, guys. Sad midget music warning. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Joel wrote this song. Every time I look to purchase an album you play, they are either out of print or sold at collector's prices, says Ryan H.U. Well, I appreciate that. Hake is filming in the studio that... Whatever. All right, guys. Build back better music, Hakes. It's Communist Bohemian Grove theme song. Whoa. I like this group, but then I'm an Xer, says Christine. Well, somebody's a millennial, and he appreciates it, I think. 4 chords this time. Get in there. So, let me just double check for any remaining Super Chats, guys. Let me look over here. All right. I appreciate the support. You know what? Let me get right over to another call. Teronzo over in Oklahoma has a question for me. Speaking of the music, Teronzo, how are you doing?
Doing all right. How about you?
Doing well. Thank you.
Hey, I've heard a lot of the music you've been playing here recently.
Yes.
And I was going to make a suggestion. That
all right.
monkey song you played, There's No Monkeys in My Family Tree.
Yep.
You should play that either at the end of every show or every Friday or something, because that's the best song you've played so far.
I appreciate that. Ain't No Monkeys in My Family Tree. That was by the Knights of the New Crusade, debunking evolution. Nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, great song. And the lady that called from Oklahoma, because I'm in Oklahoma too, I just wanted to say that she knows what she's talking about, and that it's Luciferase. It's what's in lightning bugs.
Oh,
light.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's good for you. Dope is actually not good for you.
Go to the... Yeah, it's on the website, though. Like, they tell you right on the website. It's called Luciferase right there.
Wow.
Yeah. You can look it up.
Loose as in light. I get it. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because loose is Spanish for light. But Spanish, like we all know, is darkness. Say that again?
Kind of like Lucifer.
Right, true. Yeah, it reminds me of Lucifer. That's the first thing I thought of.
Well, that's pretty much what it's based around, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you confirming Nikki's reporting.
And tell her to she's fine, man. She's it's the stuff JLP teaches, and you second is good stuff to know and be that way, but you also, I feel, you need to know a lot of the stuff she's talking about as well, because it could keep you from some of the pitfalls that are out there.
Okay. I appreciate that input, man. Yeah, and I don't...
All right.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be just dismissive of every woman just for... Anyway. I think they have the wrong mind. I think they have the wrong impression.
I don't think that was the case at all as far as it being a woman. I just felt like it was, you were coming at it from a standpoint of, looking too deep into things and getting bothered by them. I didn't take it as you were trying to get on her because she was a woman.
Right.
I didn't take it that way.
Yeah, no, but she was apprehensive about calling at all in the first place, even before she ever called, because the way we speak about women is abrasive, or Jesse's more abrasive.
Yeah, well, it just sounds abrasive because sometimes the truth sounds abrasive to some people.
True.
But, she can call. Women call all the time. Have called your show and Jesse's show.
They take over Manhood Hour. People get the Trovo people. Well, I guess they've moved to Odyssey. Oh, they call it Womanhood Hour. They're sour grapes about women calling Jesse's third hour on Wednesdays because that's supposed to be Manhood Hour, and then he's talking to women. But the women, for men anyway. It's enlightening
Yeah,
regardless.
Yeah,
And it
I
shows
just
you how
wanted
to
her
have love
know.
for people. I love hearing Jesse talk to blacks who are just so, like, they may be well-meaning, but they're so, like, dumb in certain ways. And then he talks to them about other things, and they're, like, sensible. And it just shows you that you can relate and show love and patience to people, whether they're black or
Yeah.
women or whatever.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's mainly, I would use the term ignorance because that's really what it is. They're not dumb. They just,
Right.
they get caught up in all these spells and this witchcraft that they're lying about on TV every day, and these lies in the news, and they get stuck in that mind frame, and it's hard to break it. It really is.
By witchcraft, you mean the Black Lives Matter stuff?
All of that.
Yeah.
All of it. All
the
kinds
propaganda.
Of stuff. That's only one of them.
Right. True.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. It's great to hear from you, Teronzo, and thank you for the request.
Yes, no problem. I wanted to tell the lady that called, I forgot her name.
Nikki?
There's more of us out here, so don't be afraid to speak up like she did. She did a good job.
Cool. I'm chuckling because the real Hydro PX says, how about Italians, Hake? They're exempt. You don't have to love Italians.
Italians.
I'm just playing around. Are you Italian?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Technically, I'm white.
Okay.
My dad is white. He was a white guy.
Yeah.
So
Teronzo is not your given name. It's not your Christian name.
Man, I've called y'all a lot. I'm
Right.
sure you remember Flat Earth Ed, right?
Oh, okay. Flat Earth Ed. Nice.
That Teronzo's just my current trolling handle.
Cool. You know where I got Italian, by the way? Not that you are Italian, just the name Teronzo reminds me, and Hydro brought it up. I got that from that black guy who was in Star Wars. I think he was in Star Wars, and he was Apollo Creed in the movie Rocky with that Italian stallion.
Right.
And he called him the Italian Stallion. That's where I learned Italian.
You mean saying it like Italian?
Yeah, that's where I learned saying it like Italian from a black guy in Hollywood. What a mess.
Yeah, my last name is Weaver. So
whoa, you just don't dox
believe,
yourself, man.
I don't care, man.
That's cool.
I'm, it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, far as I know, it came from Scotland or something like that.
Nice.
That name. So, but what's funny is my mom's from Syria. So.
Wow. And Syrians are Caucasians, right? Just like the Iranians, the Persians, or no?
I really couldn't tell you. My mom did a bunch of research and says that her blood goes back to the Persians or something like that. And I don't get into any of her side of it because, really, the man is like I said before, the man is.
Oh, I remember that conversation.
Your bloodline.
Yeah, the man decides the bloodline in your.
I mean, think about it. When you get married, the woman takes the man's name.
Yeah.
The man's over the woman, blah, blah. I mean, it fits right in with everything even Jesse says,
But as far as DNA, they share the DNA, right? I don't know what DNA is, but.
I mean,
and some of the blood.
I think you're just having a conversation right now for the audience, but I think that the Father is who determines it all.
The Father is important. The Father is important, for sure.
Because God and the people that actually, the elites and all the people that know, they know that the Father determines the bloodline. They understand that completely. Yeah.
How old are you, Teronzo? I forget.
51.
Nice. Well, it's great to hear from you. What an honor, man.
All right, man. Nice talking to you, bro.
You too.
We'll talk again. I'll call you again someday.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right. Peace.
Bye. He said peace, I think. Ain't no monkeys in my family tree. It was funny. The timing of when I played that after talking with a guy. Lisa, with some information for us, Lisa shares some information for us on the Facebook. She says, just FYI, Hake, listed Jewish Ashkenazi genetic diseases include Bloom syndrome, Canavan syndrome, Fanconi anemia, Gaucher disease, Niemann-Pick disease, Pick, P-I-C-K, Tay-Sachs disease, etc. It goes on and on. 1 out of 4 Jews carry these genetic conditions. Wow. I did not know that, Lisa, over there on Facebook. She's, I believe, an expert on medical-related stuff. Thank you, Lisa. So interesting. Man. Callers, hang tight, guys. I will get to you. I quickly have to play for you a couple of things going on up in Oakland, California. To this day, the blacks are attacking the whites. I mean, the Asians.
To this day.
Asians, close enough to white to be attacked by black. If you're not black, you're white. I think. This is up in Oakland. Or are they Hispanics who are attacking these people? This is put out by a journalist woman who has been named Dion Lim, D-I-O-N, Lim, L-I-M. She's a reporter up there, mainstream, probably a liberal, I don't know. But she's been documenting the Stop AAPI Hate, AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander. Well, I mean, not all Asians in America are American. Not even, and I'm not just saying, oh, they're anchor babies. Some of them are just absolute foreigners, but they're getting attacked too. According to her, this is a clip of, well, just like 13-second clip of a news report. This is clip A, 12A. 85-year-old and a 91-year-old, 85 and 91-year-old women robbed at gunpoint in Oakland. This is her alert. Surveillance video is crucial to my job, she says, to spread awareness, and it helps law enforcement investigations. These things go viral, too. I have been sitting on this video since August, and she says, the reason I'm sharing now is because sharing video helped Oakland Chinatown get 20 new cameras donated by San Mateo-based company Verkada HQ. Employees told me they donated after seeing my story of the 7-year-old's family get robbers and then seeing one guy named Carl Chan get attacked. So listen to this first video and watch if you can. It's security camera footage of a parking lot. And you see a bunch of guys swarming, or like several guys swarm, and these ladies look all panicked and victimized. Listen to this, or watch, or both.
These videos have been vital in assisting police. This video, used in a police investigation, shows an 85 and 91-year-old robbed of their handbags outside a Korean Plaza market in August.
I guess that's their getaway car. They're running to their getaway car. Those 85 and 91-year-old ladies, they seemed to move okay. They're like, ah. Maybe it was sped up, but crazy, huh? I guess that's that qigong or whatever they do. Here's a little bit more. This is what stirred the hearts of this company, San Mateo-based security camera company that donated to put in a bunch of security cameras. 20 new cameras donated into Oakland, Chinatown to catch the bad guys. See, like security, surveillance state comes as the immorality and the crime increase. You give them an excuse. What a mess. Listen to this cute little girl right here.
I just want them to be nice and not rob people.
Months later, when news broke of the attack on Carl Chan himself, it triggered a bigger effort.
We wanted to step in, see what we could do, so a few of us went to management and we asked if we had any permissions to donate.
So this Asian lady who was an employee at that San Mateo-based company, Verkada HQ, donated security cameras because the cute little girl said, little Asian girl, I just want them to be nice and stop robbing people after Carl Chan got attacked, whoever Carl Chan is. More cameras like 1984, says Chris over there from Arizona, I think. Mexican excellence, says C. Sal. Yeah, maybe they were Hispanics. Don't be fooled, she's a ninja. What a mess. Evil stuff going on. And actually, let me show for you. Not play, nothing else to play from this story at least. This whole thread. Some more interesting side notes. They launched 3 new cameras at Alice and 8th, which is up there. The AAPI community. I hate that. This whole insert so-called race and then put community, or insert LGBT and call it a community. What a mess. They are being attacked because they're sitting ducks and they're not black. And they're sitting ducks. Sitting ducks get attacked. A weak target is a target. That's why whites are targeted right now. She says also, this Dion Lim woman, who is an anchor and reporter for KGO TV up in San Fran. 100 most influential Asians 2021. She said this woman, who is half Chinese, half Jewish, presented a check on behalf of the First Hebrew congregation of Oakland to sponsor one street corner for security cameras in Chinatown. She said, as an Asian/Jew, from both perspectives, it's a scary time. #unity between those two, but not necessarily the rest of America. What a mess. Stop Asian hate crimes. Hate crimes are not real. There's no such thing as hate crime. That is a politicized term to attack the First Amendment, and especially whites. And they're not pointing out who the perpetrators are. This Dion Lim woman might be a little bit more honest than others, because they want to pretend that it's whites. Oh, it's because Trump called it the China virus that it's increased. No, it's because you enabled and encouraged Black Lives Matter and, defunded the police, attacked the police, arrested the police, charged the police just for doing their jobs. What a mess. And you won't attack. We need broken windows policing. Public canings for thieves, stuff like that. Wouldn't that be nice? What a mess. Shameful. Oh, those Asians. And the Asians fall for that communism stuff, too. China actually believes in Marxism, I read on Breitbart. Ridiculous. So they end up supporting their own destruction. Shameful. And them getting educated doesn't really help either, because they get indoctrinated into our communistic, fake, white-hating ideas. The more educated Asians that I know, many of them, most of them, if not all, I don't think all, are into the white-hating thing, pretending, racism. They'll identify with the blacks. Give me a break. Pathetic. Ignorant. And they're supposed to be educated. Glenn Youngkin tweeted out, he's a Republican running for governor for Virginia, right? He's saying Terry McAuliffe, who's the current governor, the guy who said that, what's his name? That neocon guy, Bill Kristol with a K. Bill Kristol is the leading conservative in America. He said Terry McAuliffe says you have to sit down and shut up if you're a parent, a father or a mother, or both parents, who want to have a say in your children's education. Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat, does not want you to have that. And isn't that interesting? Because those indigenous so-called people, I think it's debatable whether they're truly indigenous, up in Canada, the children who got supposedly kidnapped by the Canadian colonizers and sent to schools to make them civilized, I assume. this was over the last like 100-something years, right? 120 years, up until 150 years maybe, up until 1990s. These children, these indigenous children, First Nation children, Canadian Indians, right? The so-called natives. They were sent to school and separated from their families. Well, this is what's happening here in America. And that's what that male feminist wants too. He's separating the children from the families. The parents have no say over their children's education, or else the parents are subverted and brainwashed and blind and believe in teaching the children this anti-racism nonsense. Give me a break. What a mess. Keep your head down, fall in line. What a mess. Terrible. Anyway, I got to get to more calls, guys. Let me get to Keith in Illinois. Keith, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well.
Yeah, I just wanted to, when Jess was asking why, whites are allowing this to happen to them.
Yeah.
To take this abuse, and to be, to be oppressed. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at those Black Lives Matter rallies, there's mostly angry white women and angry black women, And these are the angry liberal women. And now I think that they've always hated America, okay?
Yeah.
And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they use the black women to go against America because they have always hated America.
Yeah.
And they turn their sons into these liberals too. So you'll see about 80% women and about 20% males. And these are these liberal males raised by their mothers. Okay?
Right.
So they hate America too. And these liberals have always hated America. They've always hated men. Okay? Most of them are lesbians or bisexual, but they've always hated men. They've always hated God. So the whites that you that you see,
right.
All these liberals always hated America and always hated God. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they choose the black people to help them to destroy America, and they're willing to sacrifice their children. I mean, just like the black women do. I mean, the black kids get killed all the time, right? What, Chicago had 320 children shot this year so far.
Yeah.
They don't care about sacrificing their children, their community, their families, or nothing, because they are so full of hate and Satan is their God. So, you could easily see what's going on.
That's true, man. It's a big mess.
Yeah.
I wonder what will happen. If we'll be able to turn it around. I like the fact that people are waking up.
I know, but to me, the conservative male, because, he's just not strong enough. I feel like the conservative movement got stronger when black men jumped in there. It's like, just like when they watched that white guy, the young, little, skinny, little black kids beat up a white guy. Why didn't them white guys step in it? Why didn't it? I mean, if you'd have knocked out 2 or 3 of them, the rest of them would have ran.
Right, true.
It's showing you how weak and how pathetic the white man. I'm like, just when I was on, the white man wouldn't have stood around and feel bad. They all would have been in that fight.
Yeah.
And they all stood, they stood for this, they wouldn't stand for none of this. And all that happened was that white, liberal, evil woman divorced that man and took his children and turned them against the man and made them soft and weak just like her. That's all that happened. That's all that happened. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They joined the black women to destroy their men. They both are destroying their men, their community, and their children because they want to destroy America, and they want and they want the power to destroy America. That's what makes them feel good.
I think that's true, man. And you know how like neighbors, I don't know if it's people are just shy now or they just don't. This diversity thing that has not lent itself to people being neighborly. But people don't even know their neighbors or pay attention. These cities are so alienating and big and full of too many people, so that the average person you cross paths with is going to be a stranger, especially up in a cosmopolitan area, meaning globalist, like Hollywood Boulevard or Hollywood. People they're not going to know what the situation is, so they're all the more hesitant to step in because it's not my business. I don't know either one of the parties. So they just don't care.
And they're scared, number one.
Yeah.
And the rest of them don't care. And all I'm saying is, that's a man is not scared, okay? So they're not men. They're raised by these liberal, white women to be weak and pathetic, so they just all scared. Or they want to see America destroyed anyway, so it doesn't matter what happens. But like I say, I've seen what goes on, I'm black in the black community. All these kids get killed, man. 320 kids got shot in Chicago, and if you mention it to them, it don't bother them. It don't mean nothing to them.
Yeah.
You'll see them fake cry on TV every now and then. Because these people are full of hate. Satan is their daddy, and they want to see nothing but death and destruction, and they don't care if it's their children, their neighbors, their family. They don't. And that's what people need to recognize. These women from the liberals and the Democrats, they want to see this. And if people just say, hey, we need to stand against this and go ahead and fight and do what we got to do. And and fight with all necessary, then that's the only way things are going to change.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Keith. It's good to hear from you, man.
Oh, yeah, always, Jake. You have a good one, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a good weekend. All right. Terrible. I have a few super chats to read quickly here, guys. Some follow-up to Teronzo's call, for example, and others. Willie Palomino says, though, over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, no such thing as hate crime. Amazing show. Thank you, Willie Palomino. That's cool. Appreciate that. Ledge Klinger says about these Canadian so-called First Nation kids who were separated from their families, and now they're sending billions to these people. Indian kids needed to be assimilated. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, Indians would be better off today if they hadn't resisted. Interesting. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. And to Teronzo's comments about the blood from the father being the defining blood, Asmodor says with an Odyssey super chat, odyssee.com/@The Hake Report /live. It's a mouthful, huh? Look at a kid from a white father and a black mother and tell me if that's a white kid. Because it's a white father, that means it's supposed to be a white child. And so often, whites are interracially with the Asians and all that. And then the children grow up, especially in these schools, hating both parents, of course, right? All kids end up hating both parents, especially the mothers, but they'll turn away, especially from the white. Maybe I'll never forget. I remember seeing a group of black girls, mixed race black girls, light skin. Or they were mixed with Asians sometimes, but they were mixed race, like black girls, basically, doing this spoken word, cringy statement for their school about being mixed and hating their white parents and both. What a mess. So evil. Just utter division. And they thought that this mixing, we'll all be one muddy race, raceless race. That's misguided. It's misguided, and it's a rejection of, I don't even know any traditional person of any race who wants their children going with another. What a mess. Am I right? I think I'm right. Let me get to Robert in Kansas. He wants to talk about the vaccine mandates. Robert, how are you doing?
Hey, Globe-Tard Hake. I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing well. What did you think of Rand Paul being offended at being compared to a flat earther just because he's not for forcing people to get the vaccine who've already had the virus?
Well, that's what the gentleman was doing, right? The guy who was the accuser. And so then he was just repeating what he did. As far as the idea that that's been mentioned, if you look at when Obama mentioned it or Bush's or even the Clintons, they've all referenced flat Earth in a way. And that's something to, the UN flag has a flat Earth on it. I mean, if you don't look at the UN flag and think, well, why is there a flat Earth on the UN flag? Well, then you're not looking at the UN flag. It's not Robert saying it. It's on the flag.
So then the UN is not truly globalist because it's not a globe.
Well, at some point, right, the controllers know all the truth and they teach us the lies, right, Hake? So, I mean, they know they know things. They know so much that they designed this lie for us.
Yeah.
Called school, the media,
right.
Everything. Hey, yesterday, did you bring up, just real quick, brother, it's very important, you brought up the swastika, I think, yesterday, and you said it was a sign for peace. Is that what you said?
Yeah, peace or wholeness or good luck or something.
Write this down. Write down sky clock. Okay, it's what it is a sky clock above the flat Earth in the firmament.
Uh-huh.
And it goes around and around. They would call them constellations or astrology, astronomy, moving stars, and just the stars themselves. They go in a certain pattern, and then they go through a certain phase of change, and then they come back to the same pattern over and over again. And so it's a clock in the sky that the swastika symbolizes that, and it's known as the sign of God. And if you've noticed that Satan has almost made it completely illegal.
Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah. Okay, to the vaccine. Sorry, to the vaccine, brother. So I guess I can tell you what I think of them, but I'm just wondering, you think COVID is real, and then you still trust Trump, so are you going to get the Trump vaccine? Are you going to, wouldn't you get it just logically?
That's personal.
If Daddy Trump warp speeded it for you, right, then now you can save yourself, and, well, anyway, man.
He warp speeded it for the boomers.
Oh, man. I don't know what's going on, Hake. So here's I'll tell you what I think about the vaccine, unless you have something.
Go for it.
Okay, so it could be and I thought this at first, maybe like a sterilization mechanism, right? Just to sterilize, especially you'd want to go after the females, but men
I don't think so. Yeah,
maybe
but
not.
I don't know.
And then I thought maybe that it was for control, so there would be some sort of nanotechnology within the shot that would then replicate, and it would absorb also, like, let's say, metals out of the atmosphere or out of your food.
I completely disavow such a notion.
Well, controlled with frequencies, right? So they could then send frequencies into your body. We have an electrical system. And our nervous system is electric.
Those two things, I will have you say, are specifically mentioned in the YouTube blog post of disinformation that they will censor.
Well, you're not saying it, Hake.
Right.
I'm just there's a theory of hypothesis. And the last theory I had, Hake, is that it's just straight up a kill shot where it has a delay mechanism in it, where it'll be 2 to 5 years down the line, and all these people will just be dead from like cancers in the body type thing. And then everyone's bringing up Mark of the Beast, right?
Right.
And dude, I tell you what, I'm not saying it's the Mark of the Beast, because then that's saying that I know something I can't know. But hey, I tell you what, if, like, let's say down the line, they're like, well, you can't get on this plane, and then it's you can't shop at this store, and then it's that you can't live here. I mean, eventually you're out in the wilderness going, well, I guess it's the Mark of the Beast. Because, dude, that's what it seems like, man.
Interesting, man. I appreciate it. I'm not for the forced thing, and I like how Trump is not for forcing people to do it. He says you have your freedoms.
Oh, man. Well, I don't want to break your heart about Trump, bro. I mean, you watch Anomaly, right? So, I mean,
a little bit.
You know what. All right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
Y'all have a good day. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye. About that notion of a delayed clock thing that will kill you after 5 years or 2 years or whatever, I don't think that that's plausible either, honestly. Although it would have to have been by accident. Who could have predicted that type of thing? Because, and it would have to be like, because think about it, how many different companies have worked on these things? J&J, Johnson & Johnson, does the single dose, so that one is probably not it. But the mRNA vaccines, it's both Pfizer and Moderna. And you would think that after that, somebody would be saying it, like a whistleblower from inside the company. And they wouldn't want that. But there is just, it is a creepy amount of, well, it's a female mindset of control freakishness for even something that is generally fine for you. It's like the seatbelt laws. Remember the seatbelt laws? Some of you guys who are Gen Xers, older than me, but I'm almost a Gen Xer. I remember I went to Colorado one time with some family and visiting friends of the family, and they were talking about how these seatbelt laws are just a meddling, micromanaging inside of your life, right? And I get it. If you don't wear a seatbelt, you're more likely to go through the windshield, die, get maimed, and that's more trouble and paperwork. Maybe just get rid of the paperwork, but it's more trouble. Nick says, that's my right to go through the windshield, right? No seatbelt law on a fifth wheel, says Dr. ADD. In the olden days, and the bad kids, the non-whites, would say, you're so white, because I would put on my seatbelt in like the back seat of the car when I would get in the car in high school. You're so white, you wear your seatbelt, what nerd? Asians would tell me that, even. Like, good boy Asians who would go to school, they went on to be doctors and stuff. I cracked. Doctors and stuff. So I think that it's, like, generally, the vaccine is okay for probably most people, maybe. But it's a control freak thing. Female mindset. And control freak doesn't even go far enough to how evil these people are to describe it. You know what I mean? Women. And when I say women, I'm not talking about Nikki from Oklahoma or whoever else thinks. I'm talking about this micromanage your life type of situation. Like shutting businesses down to be overprotective for the virus thing. You know what I mean? This virus, Trump was not he was for 15 days to slow the spread of the virus thing. And I think he had to be talked into it. He probably never should have seatbelt save lives denier. Yeah. Oh yeah, Donning Armor told me that these morons mentioned nanobots. Yeah, that was the first time I'd heard anybody mention it seriously. But I don't think that he thinks that, actually. He just said that was a going theory. But look at how they shut this businesses down. That's not right. And the people just complied. And a lot of you guys are non-compliant types, which I can appreciate. Be wise about it, though. I saw this headline from Yahoo News, really evil organization, Yahoo News. Really liberal. But they put out this headline from the Los Angeles City Council. They decided to have this vote, or they want to have this vote. There was one guy who didn't go through with it. And he was a former cop, probably a liberal, but has a tiny bit of sense, way deep down in there, about banning most people. I guess this is not new for New Yorkers or from San Francisco people. Los Angeles, this is from Reuters, far left enemies of America, Reuters, shared by Yahoo News. Los Angeles moves toward barring the unvaccinated from most businesses. It's a report by Dan Whitcomb over there at Reuters, which is far left, just extremist. Los Angeles officials on Wednesday, this week, I think, signaled they would vote next week to prohibit unvaccinated people from entering most businesses in the United States' second largest city, one of the nation's most severe crackdowns so far of the scam-endemic. All but one city council member present on Wednesday said they supported the proposed emergency, quote-unquote, ordinance, which would require proof of vaccination to enter restaurants, bars, shopping centers, gyms, and other indoor facilities. I am sick and tired. When is this? Did this come out? Yeah, September 29th. I am sick and... Listen to this quote from a male city council man. and I use the term man loosely. I am sick and tired of yahoos going into Trader Joe's grocery store, refusing to wear a mask. Maybe he's referring to that guy, our friend. What's our friend's name? Raphael? No, Raphael is his brother. Don't want to dox these guys. Lucas, yeah. Yahoos entering the Trader Joe's, refusing to wear a mask. So this is your solution? This is Paul Kerkorian, Kerkorian, which sounds like he's supposed to be an Armenian. Because usually when it ends in IAN, isn't that Armenian? What's up with Armenians, supposedly Christians, being liberals? Thinking like females. I'm sick and tired of yahoos going into Trader Joe's refusing to wear a mask. Paul Kerkorian, city council male, beta male, said in an angry remarks, I am fed up with people who want to make this into such a politicized issue and have all lost all semblance of civility in our society. Look in the mirror. Right? So this is his solution to like ban everybody who's quote unquote unvaccinated from entering these places. You're going to start a fight. And in fact, people have gotten into fights. Remember over in New York City, those black black queens, black females attacked the Carmine's lady. And I use the term lady loosely because Carmine's lady might not be a lady either, but she got assaulted, punched by black ladies from Texas who didn't feel like they should be forced to show proof of so-called vaccination to go sit down in their thing, in their restaurant. Carmine's is an Italian restaurant. I love Italian food. Little Caesars, it's the best. Hot and ready. Hake speaks beta-ish very well. Political so-called leaders across the United States, led by the Democrat President Sleepy Joe Biden, ratcheted up the pressure on the unvaccinated in recent weeks. So-called laws, I don't know if they're actually laws. Legislatures make laws, but their legislatures are corrupt too. Requiring proof of vaccinations are deeply controversial in the United States, with many Americans criticizing them as unconstitutional and authoritarian. You heard Rand Paul say it, that ignorant man, Rand Paul, citing some study from Israel. Little Caesars is so Italian. I know I said that on purpose. It's funny. Buscaino. Okay, Buscaino. Speaking of Italians, is that an Italian man? Or Italian, if you're proper. Spoiler alert, says Jib Jab. Little Caesars is fake Italian food. A majority of the LA City Council was prepared to vote in favor of the proof of vaccine measure on Wednesday. They were frustrated in that effort by council member Joe Buscaino, who, by withholding his vote, stood in the way of the so-called unanimous consent. He said the vaccine mandate could not be enforced, citing a report by the city's Department of Building and Safety that it was not equipped to take on such a law enforcement role. And I think that Buscaino is a former cop. I thought I read that he's a former cop. LA County Unified School District issued an order requiring all teachers, staff, and students at least 12 years old to be so-called inoculated by October 15th unless they can establish religious or medical exemption. Your body is your temple. Big bump says that Governor Newsom, according to KTLA, announced a statewide, just out today on KTLA. That's Channel 5 news. I forget what Channel 5 even is. Maybe it's just local, unaffiliated. They got to be affiliated with somebody. Anyway, Governor Newsom announces statewide COVID vaccine mandate for students. In what is being described as the first such mandate in the nation, Governor Gavin Newsom, the beta governor, who recently did not get recalled, and it was fair and square, guys, on Friday announced California will require all eligible students to get so-called vaccinated. There I go again. So-called. and supposedly against the China virus to go to school in person once vaccines get full federal approval. D. King 1143 says that he is religiously exempt, or she. Congrats, man, or woman. Could take effect January of next year. Once the FDA... Do not fear, though, guys. Do not fear. I heard a great... And I mentioned it, I think, yesterday. I think it was the beginning of the 3rd hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Don't be in your head about this stuff, because this stuff may affect you or may not. Take it as it comes. Don't be in your head about it. Watch and pray. Colin Barrett says, Hake, real Italians might make you sleep with the fishes. Yeah, with the concrete boots or cement boots. Yeah, stop worrying. Do not worry. Thank you, Jib Jab. We will be requiring staff K to 12 to be vaccinated in that first... Wow, that's ridiculous. K. Kindergartners. Wow. Kindergartners. Ridiculous. Poor kindergartners. I remember I was a kid. I would run away from shots. I literally ran out of the doctor's room, office thing, the room, from my mother and the doctor, and away, or down the hallway, around the corner. And then I had to go back and get the shot. It was not the China virus shot, though. That did not exist. It was from something like actually much more serious, I think. Harvard, 95% vaccinated and still shutting down. What a mess. The commies always lie. Terrible. You heard about the supply chain disruption from my caller. You guys compare him to Peter Griffin. Rick from Maine. Workers who maintain supply chains warn of worldwide system collapse. But do not be dismayed. Just like with Nikki. She thinks that it's the end times. And who knows? It may well be. Or maybe ever since Jesus came back and rose from the dead and then went back up into the sky, maybe since then it's been the end times. Bible Go-To guy says that those rivers that were drying up are the doing of like China and other countries. Euphrates is drying up, says Bible Go-To guy with the super chat, because of what Turkey is doing, which is building dams to restrict the water flow into Iraq. Euphrates and a Tigris rivers are not drying up due to an act of God, he says. Interesting. China doing the same thing, drying up the Mekong River by building dams negatively affecting Vietnam, Laos. Are you Chinese or Japanese? I'm Laotian. Laotian? Laotian? So are you Chinese or Japanese? It's an old joke from probably a cartoon. Maybe King of the Hill. Cambodia, too, affected by the Chinese people drying up their river, Mekong River. Even the USA was using up most of the water of the Colorado River and was negatively affecting Mexico's reliance on water. Yeah, and the Colorado River runs through or into or past that one beautiful lake, Lake Mead, over there in Arizona and Nevada, over there outside of Vegas. Beautiful area. I like to go to Willow Beach on the other side of Vegas, an hour past. Lake Mead, lowest point ever. But that's because of poor water running, right? In the New Testament and Old Testament, the bloodline is traced through the father, says Bible Go-To guy, by the way. Nice. So anyway, but yeah, the supply chain thing is a mess. What a mess. A terrible mess. And they're warning that it could be system collapse. So I heard at the beginning of this pandemic thing, oh, Channel 5 is CBS, says Marty. Thank you. he encouraged people to get your dried food. Not too much, just have enough so you have like 3 weeks or whatever of food. Nice. Be somewhat of a prepper, not overboard though. Anyway, I have my favorite song to share with you guys from this album, maybe from OK period. OK is the band I've been playing all this week, and probably next week I've already recorded High Road, which is part 2, also from I think 2005. Enjoy. This is from Low Road, last song on it, and it's a shortened version of it because it has a lot of noise afterwards. I'm cracking, I'm growing. But this track is entitled Bullseye. I hope you enjoy it, guys. Enjoy Bullseye from OK, and then get ready for The Fallen State later this afternoon. And of course, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on Sunday, and hopefully I'll see you next week. All right, guys. Bullseye by OK. Bye.
Is calling your bullseye away from where it belongs. Something is calling your bullseye away from where it belongs. Something is calling your bullseye away from where it belongs. Something is calling your bullseye away from where it belongs. Something is calling